The Clockmaker's Lesson extended narrative. In a quiet village surrounded by rolling hills and tall trees, there stood a small clock shop at the corner of the market square. The shop looked old, with wooden walls polished by time and a little bell above the door that rang softly whenever someone stepped inside. From the outside, anyone passing by could hear a calm rhythm drifting through the window, the gentle ticking of many clocks, each one keeping steady time. Lena, a curious young girl from the village, often walked past the shop on her way home. She loved listening to the tiny ticking sounds. To her, they felt like the heartbeat of the village, slow, steady, and comforting. She had always wondered how all those clocks worked and how every single one of them seemed perfectly in sync. One day, after thinking about it for many weeks, she finally gathered the courage to step inside. The moment Lena entered, the smell of polished wood and metal greeted her. Shelves lined the walls, filled with clocks of all shapes and sizes, tall clocks, pocket watches, tiny desk clocks, and delicate glass ones with golden gears inside. At a wooden table near the back sat Taro, the old clockmaker, his hands steady even though his hair was silver and his face carried gentle wrinkles. Lena stood quietly. For a moment, watching him adjust a small gear with great care, she noticed how calm he looked, how slowly he moved, and how every motion seemed thoughtful. Finally, she asked in a soft voice, "Master Taro, how do your clocks stay so perfect?" Taro looked up, smiled kindly, and invited her closer. He told her that the secret was not magic nor luck. It was patience, care, and understanding how every small piece worked together. He explained that a clock was more than just metal and gears. It was a system of tiny parts that depended on one another. If one piece was ignored, the entire clock would fail. Lena listened carefully, fascinated by every word. Seeing her curiosity, Taro decided to teach her something important. He gently placed an old, dusty clock on the table in front of her, a clock that had stopped working long ago. Its hands were frozen in place, and its ticking had gone silent. He smiled softly and said, "If you wish to learn, try fixing this one." Excitement filled Lena's heart. She wanted to prove she could do it. Without thinking much, she grabbed a small screwdriver and began loosening screws as fast as she could. She believed that working quickly meant being skilled, but as she rushed, a spring suddenly jumped out, a gear rolled off the table, and several tiny parts scattered across the surface. Her excitement instantly turned into frustration. With a deep sigh, Lena said, "This is taking too long. I thought it would be easy." Taro did not scold her. Instead, he spoke gently, his voice calm and steady. He told her that impatience is like shaking a fragile machine. The more you rush, the more damage you cause. He invited her to pause, breathe, and observe the clock before touching anything else. Lena felt embarrassed at first, but she listened. She set the tools down and simply looked at the clock. For the first time, she noticed how every gear was shaped differently, how each one connected to another, and how nothing in the clock existed without purpose. Taro explained that clocks are very much like learning, like solving problems, and even like people in a community. When one part is ignored or skipped, the whole structure weakens. But when every step is respected, everything works in harmony. Slowly, Lena picked up the scattered gears and studied them one by one. She turned them in her fingers, noticing how their teeth matched the others. Carefully, she placed each gear back into place, checking how it aligned. She moved quietly, patiently, no longer rushing. Time seemed slower but calmer. As she worked, she began to understand Taro's words. The lesson was not really about clocks. It was about attention. It was about slowing down long enough to understand what you were doing instead of trying to finish as fast as possible. Piece by piece, Lena rebuilt the inside of the clock. When she tightened the final screw, she gently wound it. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, softly, the clock began to tick again, one steady beat after another, calm and precise. Lena's eyes widened with pride and relief. "It works." "Because I took my time," she whispered. Taro nodded, pleased. He told her that patience is not the same as being slow. Patience means being precise, thoughtful, and respectful of every step in a process. "Real learning," he said, "does not come from speed, but from understanding." Lena realized that she had always rushed through things, through schoolwork, through chores, even through problems she didn't fully understand. Now she saw that progress did not come from finishing quickly, but from doing things carefully and with purpose. She promised herself that from that day on, whether she was fixing something, studying, or facing a new challenge, she would work one piece at a time with patience and attention. As Lena left the shop, the clock in the window chimed softly, echoing through the quiet village square. The sky was beginning to turn golden with evening. Light and the steady ticking followed her as she walked away. It felt like a quiet reminder that in every task, in every dream, and in every step of life, true progress begins with patience, understanding, and respect for the small actions that build the whole.